Hey, what's up guys, it's Renaldo here. So this video is going to focus on a glaring issue facing South Africa, and that is that white South Africans are leaving this country in droves. Now, according to the government, doesn't seem to be an issue, especially for the biggest political party, the ANC, because they're not doing anything to address it. And I would argue that the radical political parties like the EFF and MK are probably celebrating it. And then, of course, we've got the woke leftist commentators out there that would probably blame white South Africans. Now, what am I talking about? Well, over the last 4 decades, the only racial group where the net loss has taken place in this country is white South Africans. Black, Indian, and colored South Africans have increased, but white South Africans have decreased. So much so that the net loss over the last 4 decades has been 706,000 white South Africans. Now, that is 16% of the white population. Now, Newsday has a brilliant article on this that I will talk about just now. But before I do, please be sure to subscribe to this channel. It's absolutely free. It won't cost you anything. And the overwhelming majority of you that regularly watch my content aren't subscribed. So you can just fix that by clicking the subscribe button below, and it'll be greatly appreciated. Let's have a look at this article. Thanks to Newsday for this article, and it says white people are leaving South Africa. And South Africa's white population continues to decline and is the only racial group which has consistently seen a net outflow of people. This was revealed in Statistics South Africa's mid-year population estimates released on the 30th of July 2026. The 26 mid-year population for South Africa is estimated at 63.52 million people, with the black African population at 51.92 million. The black African population constitutes approximately 82% of South Africa's population, dwarfing the other groups. The colored population is estimated at 5.36 million, the white population at 4.5 million, and the Indian and Asian population at 1.72 million. What was striking about the latest statistics is that the white population was the only one which declined. One reason is negative net migration. Net migration data represents the difference between the number of people entering and the number of people leaving South Africa. Between 2021 and 2026, South Africa lost 94,898 white people through migration. This continued a trend which started in 1985. Between 1985 and 2000, during South Africa's democratic transition, the country lost 202,000 white people through migration. This trend continued over the next 26 years, during which net migration totaled 503,562. That means that South Africa saw a net loss of 706,430 white people over the last 4 decades. In comparison, black Africans experienced a net migration of 4.5 million and a net total of 273,838 Indians and Asians entered the country. The table below shows the net migration of different race groups in South Africa between 2021 and 2026. And as you can see over here, Black African has increased every single period, the same with Indian, and every single period, white people have decreased. Now, before the ANC, EFF, and MK and woke leftists want to come out and blame white South Africans and say, oh, it's because they are racist, or it's because they don't want to live in unity with other South Africans, let's just quickly discuss a couple of things here. The first thing is the fact that there's a song being sung in this country, Kill the Boer, and it has been sung since 2010 publicly in this country. And the Constitutional Court came out and said, oh, there's nothing wrong with that song, even though it asks for the literal killing of people of a specific race and ethnicity. There's nothing being done about it. Old South African flag, which is known as the apartheid flag, even though the flag existed before apartheid, that piece of cloth has been banned by the very same Constitutional Court that says that a song that is literally asking for the killing of people based on their ethnicity or culture is not hate speech. That's the first thing. Then we can look at the 144 race-based laws in this country that discriminates against people purely based on the color of their skin. Even children. There is no actual date there that says, okay, people that were born after this date won't be affected by these race-based laws. But yet, in this country in 2026, there's 144 race-based laws that discriminate against you purely based on the color of your skin. Now, with that knowledge, do you still want to tell me that it's the white South Africans that don't want to live in perfect harmony with everybody else? No. Maybe it's the fact that the government and the courts and the actual laws in this country directly discriminate against people, especially if they are white South Africans. Now, I'm not asking for a pity party. I'm just giving you the stats and telling you perhaps why so many white South Africans are deciding to leave this country. At what point are we going to have that conversation to say, white South Africans, you are actually welcome here. We want you here. And let's look at how we can start repealing some of these race-based laws and how we could perhaps force people to stop singing songs to kill you. Because ultimately, the white South Africans in this country also contribute towards tax. They pay their VAT, and ultimately their money is being used to improve South Africa. But at every single opportunity, they are blamed for what happened in South Africa, apartheid, colonialism, and they are being discriminated against in this country every single day. So much so that if a child that is born today is born into a white skin, they immediately face 144 race-based laws that discriminate against them. A perfect example of this is the fact that a child born in 2008, which is literally 14 years after the end of apartheid, is being discriminated against today when they are 18 years old. So explain to me how a child that was born 14 years after the end of apartheid, since we became a democracy, is now still being discriminated against, even though they are entering the job market this year. Make it make sense. How is that not racism? How is that not exactly the same as the race-based laws that discriminated against black people during apartheid, specifically in the working environment? But you see, this is double standard, once again, that exists. We've got the media that during apartheid condemned the government for their race-based policies. And in 2026, we've got the media that praises the government for what they are doing. And we've got the international media that's not talking about this. And finally, when a government in the United States actually speaks out against this, then everybody and their dog in the media and in the government condemns that country for exposing South Africa or talking negatively about South Africa. So the statistics don't lie. White South Africans don't feel comfortable in this country anymore. And like I said, 16% of them has decided to leave this country if you look at the net input and output. People that come in and people that leave. 4.5 million white South Africans left. And of course, there are millions of them that left over the last 4 decades. But the inflow of white South Africans has been a net negative to the tune of 706,000, which is 16% of the population. So instead of the government asking themselves, what can we do to not let white South Africans leave the country? Instead, you have people on social media that are mocking refugees, that are saying, leave, we don't want you here. And then, of course, they are saying it through their actions by singing Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer, and the 144 race-based laws that discriminate against white people and their children. Now, how is that acceptable in a democratic society? And how is mainstream media not condemning this? Well, this is South Africa in 2026. Welcome. And that's pretty much all I got to say. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please be sure to smash that like button, share this video far and wide. Don't forget to subscribe. It's absolutely free. Won't cost you anything. However, if you'd like to contribute to this channel financially, you can do so by giving a super thanks below, or you can become a member by clicking the join button below. And that's all I've got to say. Till later. Cheers and peace out.
You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say I went my massacre. You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say I went my massacre. My massacre. You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say I went my massacre. My massacre.